For many years, we've traveled the world making wildlife programs for the BBC.
What an amazing animal.
My name's Chris Packham.
I'm Liz Bonin.
Now that's a lion-tailed macaque.
I'm Steve Backshall.
Oh, not the ear.
And I'm Gordon Buchanan.
Oh, look at that.
We may have spent a lot more time on home turf lately. But it's given us a chance to reflect on just how incredible some of those wild adventures were. And we want to share some of these memories with you.
Go.
The close encounters, grueling expeditions,
Oh, I don't believe it.
the amazing discoveries,
Thank you.
and career-defining moments.
I just asked a wild bear for a kiss.
We'll also hear from those behind the cameras about just what it takes to capture the natural world in all its wonder. Join us as we look back on our wildlife encounters in India, Bhutan, and Bangladesh, lands that tigers roam and a host of magical species call home.
India holds an incredibly special place in my heart. This is my, look at her, love her face, my great-great-great-grandmother, and this is my great-great-grandfather. Both born in India. They were born in a village called Lachmanpur in Uttar Pradesh, in the north of the country. And the older I get, the more proud I get of my Indian blood. She looks like a fierce individual. Maybe I got my stubbornness from her. Other animal symbiotic relationships. Normally we talk about wildlife, two species in wildlife working perfectly to benefit each other. But here, humans are helping the cranes out by feeding them. And the cranes, by being fed, don't feed on the crops in the surrounding farms and also allow this very small village to get an income from the tourists, from the visitors that come to see the spectacle just like we did. Issues with wildlife protection in India. They have a massive problem with poaching, there is pollution, there is still conflict. But in those places where you get the chance to experience that reverence, those interactions.
Dawn in Rajasthan. It's a truly unforgettable experience. Unbelievably beautiful. Listening to all the dawn chorus, the water birds down on the lake chatting away. It's something that you never get tired of. I always knew that I wanted to be involved in wildlife in some way. Wildlife camera work is something that just I picked up, I guess, when I was more in my sort of mid-20s. The phone rang. A very well-known producer, Mike, and he said to me, I'm making a film in India and I wonder if you'd be interested in being involved. And I was going, oh yeah, and what's it about? It's a tiger film.
a bit closer.
It's a truly unforgettable experience. Our challenge was to find one animal that was at an interesting stage in its life cycle. And then came two male cubs. One was called Slantir and one was called Broken Tail. There was always something very special about Broken Tail. He had this little feature, a kink in his tail. And so he's the one that we always sort of noticed first. Always seemed to be the more boisterous one, the more adventurous one. What you're filming. But I must admit, when it came to Broken Tail, I was not able to keep a level of detachment. No, I fell head over heels and madly in love with Broken Tail. And I don't think anyone had spent as long with the tiger family as we had in those days, day in, day out, for several years, really.
I think I knew Broken Tail as well as I knew my own daughters.
Suddenly, when they were about 20 months old, the family split up overnight. It wasn't long before I came to know that Slantir had been shot that night by a poacher. Matchley's behaviour, Broken Tail's behaviour changed completely after that. They became incredibly evasive and elusive.
And I never saw him again.
Where? Broken Tail. An email came into my inbox then one day about a year later. I opened it up and it was from a journalist who had photographed a tiger that had been killed by a train about 200 kilometres from Ranthambore National Park. And lo and behold, when I looked at that photograph, I realised it was Broken Tail. He was in the prime of his health when he was struck by that train. How did he get from this sort of tiger paradise to this place where he died? And that's when my old friend, my old tiger filming friend Salim and I decided to get a couple of horses and go through the mountains of Rajasthan to try and understand what Broken Tail had gone through on his journey.
Wouldn't mind jumping in there myself.
I'm picking up some of it, but I can't get it all.
He's saying there about 3 or 4 kilometers from that village, Manak Chowk, there is a small bridge of the small Nala and there is a water hole.
Yeah.
He was coming back from the Bundi and he saw a tiger crossing a road and he gets shocked, you know. It was very close to his motorbike and
अब वो देख लो रोड के ऊपर बड़े सही अंदाज से चल रहा था वो.
his big tiger is walking in the royal style.
Like he owns the place. He Broken Tail puts the Royal and Royal Bengal tiger. Do you think he stopped at the water hole?
ने जब उसको देखा था वो पानी पे जा रहा था पानी पीने.
पानी पास में था उसके.
You don't see that.
He turned around and got out.
and run away.
ऊपर करीबन 10 किलोमीटर तक सांस नहीं खाया.
And for 10 kilometers, he's feeling like he's having a loose motion.
I'm not surprised.
Namaskar ji.
Ram Ram Sab. Dhanyavad.
That's the thing about India. People do have a great respect for living things. Can you imagine in Europe allowing a great predator to wander freely around the country? Wouldn't happen.
How the heck did he get across here?
Oi, oi.
Never seen anything like this in India before, Salim. I can't imagine him swimming across this, can you?
No.
I'd say he got here, went down some sort of riverbed, tracked along it, and came to some shallow area.
There must be some shallow areas. We should go and see that.
Poor old horses, though. They haven't enjoyed this rocky ground. Wouldn't want to push them too much more.
Either we can walk and...
You can walk? I've only ever seen you walk to your car.
We came to realize there was a lot more habitat out there than we had actually imagined. And we also came to realize that, of course, young men area. And so he had just started wandering and had gotten himself into more and more trouble.
And does he remember the tiger being killed by the train here?
वो टाइगर जो ट्रेन से कट के मारा था उसका पता है? अच्छा अखबार से पता चला आप देखने नहीं गए फिर उसको? There is old lady in the village, Dara village. They might have seen tiger when they come to collect the wood.
Is she still around or can we find out?
उसका क्या नाम था वो?
देख और वो जो अच्छा कर फिर मैं तो लकड़ियां तो पटकी मां पा गया ठिकाड़ी तो लकड़ियां को मां से तोड़ी ना चटी ये तोड़ी
I think I can. She was out wood cutting, picking sticks off the ground, and when she cracked one.
She cracked one of the stick and tiger heard that because tiger was not expecting this lady. So suddenly he heard sound and he's shocked to see them. So he ran away and she ran away.
अनि चार दिन में तो मिले और रात में वो मर गया दिल ने दुखा गो
They says we really felt very bad when we get to know about the tiger being killed because he never make any harm and it's such a beautiful animal.
एकदम हमारे जैसे घर का
He says we trust that tiger like we can trust a human in a house.
Can these ladies put a date on when they last saw him?
वो मरियो तो नार मरियो ना जी के जी दिन देखियो जन्नाड़े देखी
She knows when the tiger killed by the train here. In the daytime, she saw him, and next morning they found him dead.
को देखना
So you were the last person to see Broken Tail alive, probably?
हाँ
This is the same chain of hills that stretches all the way to Ranthambore. 200 miles long. And this is where Broken Tail ended up. Every so often you can hear a train. It's quite a busy train track. He knew that sound so well, but he didn't know to avoid them. He hadn't learned that lesson. Travelled so far, he must have learned so much. And even for me, it was quite a journey. But he sort of did it all by himself. He'd no mate. That's kind of sad. But to have made it this far, it was some tiger. It really was some tiger. What number did that guy say?
He said this is between 870 and 871.
This could have been the very spot where he came down.
870. This was the place called. He jump out from here and fall down here.
Why didn't he just jump up there?
He tried to save himself. Maybe he don't have enough time or...
I've seen tigers jump walls that high. Many times.
They do that.
Just think after all he went through, after his journey, after all the hardships he must have faced, generally, in life. Pity that it all ended here.
I should do some puja at the memory of...
his legacy will remain forever, I think, because it was really broken tail, and the fact that he had made that journey and died in that place that led to the establishment of Rajasthan's third Project Tiger Reserve. So that gives me a real sense of satisfaction that his death was not in vain. Still, I get sad when I think about him, but yeah, his death was not in vain, that's for sure.
The Sundarbans. But what a place. It was so beautiful, so tranquil. The sunrises and sunsets across the river and the mud were just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Tiger, tiger burning bright in the forests of the night. The forests of the night. That's what we think about when we think of tiger territory. It's those thick, dry, or sometimes wet, tropical jungles. What we don't think of when we think of tiger habitat is mud. But strangely, that can be tiger habitat. Marginal habitat, it might be. But if there are tigers there, you've got to go and look for them. We took the unusual step of chartering a... One of my lifelong wildlife worst possible sequences of tigers ever filmed, because they were just glimpses in a swamp. But sometimes it's not about a full frontal encounter. Sometimes it's about being enveloped by the experience. And given the mud, we had an enveloping experience with a tiger on top. That was... For me, when I see a tiger in the wild, in its environment, I find it a humbling experience, because I know full well that on the ground, I'm just prey, potentially just prey. And I think it's really good to have that context sometimes, because we do tend to think that we are the be-all and end-all of everything. And when you're up against a tiger, you're not.
Notice this will to coexist with nature, to live in harmony with it in a way that doesn't really happen in many other parts of the world. And I've always tried. But also, it must be down to the fact that India is a country so rich in wildlife that hasn't been eradicated through its history. In the UK, for example, we got rid of our wolves in the 1700s, our bears and our lynx in medieval times. And so there's been this big gap in our history where we just haven't been connected to these big charismatic animals that we've had to figure out how to live alongside. And maybe that's the difference between a country like the UK and a country like India.
I embarked on a filming trip to the Western Ghats a few years ago. It's an area
Bhutan is a place that's very dear to my heart. You have the Himalayas to the north, and to the south you have India. It has enormous areas of pristine forest. And then cut through that, whitewater rivers, many of which have never been paddled before. And the highest unclimbed mountains in the world. It's pretty much a perfect place to go on expedition. This is one of my most treasured possessions. It's an old monastery door from Bhutan. It has this extraordinary dragon image emblazoned on the front of it. Bhutan is known as the land of the thunder dragon. And that is that thunder dragon in full effect. It was an amazing feeling to be there, and if it was a potential key part in the puzzle of a viable corridor for tigers moving across the south of the Himalayas. A big part of that problem was knowing how high tigers can go and how high they can live. And so I was going to be heading out to try and see if there was any evidence of those big cats and tigers there in the foothills of the Himalayas. If they were there, there could be a perfect tiger corridor that would run all the way through the north of Bhutan. As far as knowledge of tigers go, this part of the Himalaya hasn't been explored by anybody. So any information we can find up here is going to be massively valuable. You have to be able to put yourself into the mind of a tiger to be able to stand any chance of following them. And that's one of the great things about tracking. Tracking is a detective story. You're turning yourself into a wildlife Poirot, looking at the signs that have been left behind and deducing from them what's happened. On this main track that we've been walking on, all of the tracks that are left behind are from the shod hooves of horses and donkeys. This here, this kind of chute running down the hillside is very, very steep, and it's not made by domestic animals. This is definitely coming from wild animals. So there you can see a very definite cloven hoof, slightly splayed because it's going uphill on a soft surface, but that is from a sambar deer. It's the largest deer found around here and the favourite prey of the tiger. And it's really, really good news for us because this is exactly the kind of large prey that tigers need. I mean, they'd need to eat something the size of a sambar deer probably at least once a week. This discovery was going to turn our whole mission on its head. So we had come up to try and find evidence of tiger. But the snow leopard is the holy grail of wildlife filmmaking. It's the animal that everyone wants to see. I've never seen one. And here, suddenly, was my big opportunity. The only way that I could think of that I had any chance of filming these animals was to sit out there myself. I knew that I couldn't take the crew because, you know, one person there was probably going to be too much anymore, and you just, you know, completely forget about it. I knew that my chances were 1,000,000 to 1. But if I'd stayed in my tent, they would have been 0. So I figured, what have I got to lose? That's the blue sheep that was killed last night. I've put myself in under a rocky overhang so that my back's protected and nothing can come at me from behind. Can't pretend I'm not scared. I am. I guess after about 4 hours, all of a sudden, everything changed. I heard a sound that I will never forget. Just over my shoulder, there was a snarl, like a panther in a Tarzan movie. A kind of meow kind of snarl, and then a bunch of little stones bounced down alongside me, and then silence. And all of a sudden, I was a frightened little boy, all alone in the darkness, knowing that there was at least one big cat out there somewhere. And I lost it.
Is the world really this beautiful? Can these mountains be this high? I find in many ways doing this job is like never really growing up. You know, when I was a kid, you know, I wasn't running about with a camera looking for animals, but I was kind of doing similar stuff back then as I'm doing now. Getting to know the natural world and sort of trying to kind of understand it or interact with it. And that doesn't really matter whether you're kind of, you know, a kid, you know, lifting up a sheet of corrugated iron to find out if there's an adder or a slow worm under there, or whether you're exploring the Himalayas looking for one of the world's biggest predators. The objective in Bhutan was pretty straightforward. It was to get evidence of tigers living at high altitude, if indeed they were living at high altitude.
Steve had had his go. Now it was my turn to try and find proof of tigers high up in the Himalayas.
We're heading up further into what is snow leopard territory, but I am really intrigued to see if we can find evidence of tigers beyond this. I would be amazed if there are tigers living up here. If they are here, they've adapted to live at this elevation because, you know, tigers are supposed to be way down there.
There had always been rumours of tigers here at high altitudes, but an expedition had never captured one on camera before.
I haven't seen anything. The things I'm looking for, first thing I'll be looking for is the prey. What are the tigers feeding on up here? But in absence of that, looking for their tracks along this sort of loose, dusty soil. Tigers, when they're patrolling, they make these scrapes on the ground, they urinate against bushes, you can smell that, they scratch on trees. There is none of that. I haven't seen, you know, one piece of evidence that backs up the rumours that there are tigers up here. And I keep on telling myself, these are rumours that there are tigers here, but there are also rumours in Bhutan that there are yetis. So I'm beginning to sort of wonder whether, you know, they're here at all. What we kind of realised with this challenge of finding cats up in the Himalayas was a kind of numbers game to get as many camera traps as possible and put them in at as many places as we could. All ready to go. Good luck. That's that thing of trying to put your mind into the mind of a tiger. It's thinking, okay, I'm on this sort of mountain ridge. If I was a tiger, if I was living up here, where would I go? Myth, it wasn't a rumour. These big cats are, you know, prowling these mountains at the top of the world. It's pretty remarkable.
It's adventures like this, along with many others, that make me realise just how precious our amazing natural world is.
Another amazing watch charting the rise of the continents, beginning with Africa, here tomorrow afternoon at 2:15. Is there anybody out there? The Sky at Night on the search for extraterrestrial life, tonight at 10 on BBC 4.